Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Meg 2 The Trench. This is a new film from 2023, rated PG-13 with a runtime of an hour and 56 minutes. As of the recording of this video, it's got a Rotten Tomato score of 28% with an audience score of 71%. I wouldn't say it's as bad as 28%, but it's definitely not as 71% for me. Uh, Let me give you a quick synopsis here and we'll get into it. Get ready for the ultimate adrenaline rush this summer. Meg to the Trench, a literally larger than life thrill ride that supersizes the 2018 blockbuster and takes action to higher heights and even greater depths with multiple massive Megs and so much more. We'll see about that. Dive into uncharted waters with Jason Statham and global action icon Wu Jing as they lead a daring research team on an exploratory dive into the deepest depths of the ocean. Their voyage spirals into chaos when a malevolent mining operation threatens their mission and forces them into a high stakes battle for survival, pitted against colossal mechs and relentless environmental plunderers. Our heroes must outrun, outsmart, and outswim the merciless predator in a pulse pounding race against time. Um, that sounds like it would be a good movie. So let's talk about the people behind this film. This film is directed by Ben Wheatley, and it stars Jason Statham returning as Jonas Taylor, Jing Wu as Yuming Zhang, Sophia Kai as Mei Ying, and Cliff Curtis as Mac. So we have a few returning characters from the first film. Obviously, Mei Ying's mom uh, was, if you haven't spoilers for the first film, she passed in the first film, so she's not here. But we do see Yuming Zhang as her uncle. It's like that's the name of the character. So I think this film has a lot of issues, and the main one to me is it's just not very entertaining. I can usually put up with a lot of stuff as far as like movies are bad or goofy or weird, but this one just like it wasn't entertaining because I'm here to see the Megs and I'm here to see Meg shenanigans, and unfortunately for about I would say an hour and 10 minutes of this film, long time running film. Film is too long as well. But for about an hour and 10 minutes, to me, it just felt like it wasn't like this was not about the Meg. This was about an underwater mission into the trench. Which look, the trench is a cool concept and definitely worth exploring. But there's other movies that have done it so much better. While I was sitting there for that first hour and 10 minutes, I was thinking to myself, I should just rewatch Underwater. That's such a better movie about a very similar concept. Um, that was really the main issue with this. I wish they had compressed that whole first part of setting up. I think the setup was pretty straightforward, right? We're still uh, we're still looking for stuff in the trench where we're still diving out there. We're still exploring it for whatever reason. um in the sequence that introduces Jason Statham back, I think that was actually pretty fun. But that was only like the first 8 minutes. Like I was looking at my watch when that finished, and I was like, oh, that was 8 minutes. Cool, we're in for a good ride. But it's not. So after that, I think the film gets a little better because that's when we actually start getting into like Meg shenanigans. They introduce other creatures that are from the trench, and like there's definitely a lot there. So there could be a lot of fun. I just wish that we hadn't focused that whole first half of the movie on something that to me seemed very inconsequential, something that you could have done a lot faster, a lot more efficiently. Uh, Also, now, and this may be no surprise to anyone, all the villains in this movie are very much telegraphed because ultimately, to me, this film, and I haven't rewatched the first one in a long time, but it's the first film just with that whole other concept of the whole trench storyline added in at the beginning, and then it just becomes the same film, which is fine. I don't mind. Like if you're telling me that I'm gonna see Meg action, give me Meg action, right? Um, and I think that was the problem. Like usually, I'm not a viewer that gets too much into like trying to figure out who the bad guys are or the twist, but I didn't even have to try. This was like the way the camera would stay on different characters and stuff, like just all the little camera trickery, like they immediately told you like, oh yeah, this is a bad guy, this is a bad guy, this is a bad guy, and here's all the twists and turns that we're gonna, so stay in for the ride. They like telegraphed all the twists and turns, I guess, so you would have something to look forward to, because once again there was such a long running in between. um, I think Jason Statham is great. Like he's usually uh, just a fun, like he's the same character in every movie, right, for the most part. So he's great. He knows what he's doing. um, and all the other characters that come back around them, like they're fine, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, except that unfortunately here is some of them are just fodder for what's happening underwater. They don't get any backstory. We don't get to we don't get to care about the characters before we let them go. Which in the first film, even I believe the character's name was Toshi at the beginning of the film, they did enough in one scene to be like, oh shit, this dude, I care about this dude. I don't want him to die. And then that's kind of the whole inciting incident of the film. Whereas in this one, they just, oh, this like this guy likes Comic Con or whatever, and then boom, like, and sorry about the slight spoilers, but it is it was a little frustrating. Like it's been a while since I've been to the theater, and I just kept looking at my watch, like wanting to make sure that the movie's almost over. As I mentioned, the end of the film, that's when I really feel like they really nailed all the Meg stuff. And I also feel like this movie might make enough money for them to continue the story. They definitely leave everything in a place where you could keep telling Meg stories, right? Kind of like with Jaws. Like there was definitely a finality to the story, but you can always make more if you find a clever way around it. I think in this case they did not, because unfortunately they didn't do enough work for me to care about what's going on in the trench. I think some of the visuals are cool that you see down in the water, and like I said, I think the movie overall, like it's it's fun to look at some points. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen for any by any means necessary. Yeah, but it was just it was not a very enjoyable experience for most of it, which to me just like I usually have the bar pretty low when it comes to like I just love going to the movies and having a good time at the theater. Unfortunately, this was not a good time at the theater. So there you have it. I would say if you really want to watch a movie like this, watch the Meg, watch the original Meg if you haven't seen it, or if you want maybe rewatch that. I didn't rewatch the Meg before this, so I don't think that would have been necessary, like to for me to catch any callbacks. I think all the characters that came back were pretty much like very similar to the first one. And as I mentioned, watch Underwater. That is such a like that film is so well done about underwater, like kind of like horror and sci-fi. It almost, and I think I reviewed it a while back, and in my review I said that it feels like Alien, but underwater. So, but yeah, as far as the Meg 2, the Trench, uh, it was unfortunately not the best film. So, um, you know, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.